Ladies and gentlemen, that's really glary. I'm gonna stay like this. It's great lighting. Okay, so I wanted to take a minute and do a video. I'm in an apartment right now. So I'm looking across the window and there's another open blind and they're looking at me. Hi. They're not actually looking at me, but they can see me if yeah, I'm gonna back up a little bit. I kinda wanna close this just a little bit. There we go. They can't see in, but I can see out. So, anyways, I wanted to take a second, and I saw this video today on YouTube. Um, I watch a lot of guitar videos, and they talk. This guy was talking. I'm not gonna say his name because I forgot his name. Uh, he was doing this video about like different riffs and stuff to do, and uh, Robert Baker, that's his name. And I watch a lot of his videos because he plays fantastic on the guitar. Like, he's a fantastic player. And I really admire his playing style. And I want to be able to play like that eventually, but it's going to be a while. But he was talking about, like, people that inspired him, Slash, for me, it would be Clapton, John Mayer, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, Billy Gibbons, um, Tony Iommi, Steve Vai. Yeah, those are my inspirations. Those are the guys where I'm like, okay, Paul Gilbert, love Paul Gilbert, all those Gilbert. But and I was thinking about something. I was like, what could I make a video about? And I was like, there's something that I've always wanted to talk about, like out in public, just because I can share it privately with people, but I don't know if it really means that much. But I want to talk about the most important people in my life. So, not like inspired me to play the guitar or inspired me to play basketball or make YouTube videos or something like that. I want to talk about the people who are like really important in my life that do a lot of stuff for me. And I know what I'm gonna say, and I don't know if the people in this that I'm gonna talk about are gonna really like it, but I want to talk about it. So I want to talk about the four people in my life that really helped me through everything. I'm gonna start with number one is my mom. And this is in no particular order. I'm not saying like my mom helps me out more than anybody, or my sister, or my dad, or my girlfriend, or anything like that. Like, I'm not gonna say that because I don't know. I don't have a preference to who helps me out the most. But my mom helps me out a lot. We butt heads because we're exactly alike. I'm the boy version of her. Uh, Literally. We butt heads every now and then, but most of the time, like 95% of the time, we're joking around. And she helps me with my meds. She takes care of my doctor's appointments. When I need advice on certain things. Whenever I have advice about like my relationship, I ask my dad first, then I ask my mom, and then I ask my sister. And my sister, I really don't take it with a grain of salt because she's only 14. But it's kind of weird because kids have like this profound way of looking at life that is totally different from what an adult would say. So like if I said, oh, me and Crystal are having some relationship problems, I think she's embarrassed of me or something like that. My dad would be like, well, if she's embarrassed with you, you really need to talk to her about it. My mom would be like, well, just take a couple days, think about it, talk to her about it, and it basically gave me the same thing, it's just a different way. And Brooklyn, Brooklyn will either be like, break up with her, or she'll be like, you really should think about it because you might be being bipolar right now. And most of the time, she's like, you're being bipolar right now. Talk to somebody about it, think about it, then do it. And so that's what typically she tells me to do. And so typically that's what I do, is I think about it and all that. But we don't have a lot of problems. So knock on wood, because I don't want to have that. But my mom helps me out a lot. She gives me great advice and she takes care of me, and she helped raise me, and it was great. Uh, she's probably the most important like female influence in my life. Uh, even though sometimes we don't get along, but I don't get along with my dad sometimes either. I'm kind of a lot. I'm not like a hellraiser, but I'm kind of a lot. I'm bipolar, not unbelievably bad, but sometimes I have my moments where I'm just unreasonable. And my mom's that female influence on my life that's like really supportive, really nice to me, really good to me. And then my sister, my sister is my best friend, and she's always in my life in one way or another. We're and we get in fights. We have different political views, uh, only slightly, but hers are they're not bad. No, but I don't think anybody's political views are bad unless you're like a white supremacist. But she's she's we just have a little bit different views on things, but we tend to agree on just about everything in one form or fashion. Um, so we have little arguments about that. We have little arguments about what we want to do, like when are we gonna go eat or something like that. But she's sick, so she doesn't get to do much, uh, like I used to do when I was younger, and we have great times though. Like she makes me laugh harder than anybody else in the whole world, and like we don't have the same tastes when it comes to YouTube videos mostly, but sometimes we do. Like she watches this one girl, Little Simsy, not little but Lil Simsy, and I think that girl's hilarious because she is the big like grown up version of my sister. They're exactly like it's hilarious, and she's a great YouTuber, and she watches a bunch of Sims YouTubers. She watches this one guy. His name is Oliver or something like that. Ollie. I don't know. Makes some weird videos, but they're funny, and she likes them. And that's one where I'm like, okay, on my own, I wouldn't watch it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't watch either one of them on my own because it's just I'm not a Sims fan for the most part. But if they do like PUBG or something, I'd watch it. But Brooklyn's my best friend. She makes me laugh harder than anybody. That's her big role in my life, is making me laugh and helping me out. Then I go to my dad, and my dad's my biggest male influence, and I'm unbelievably close with my dad, and I'm unbelievably close with my mom too. But the reason I'm so close to my dad is because we basically have the same views on 95% of everything in life, and we get along really well. But sometimes I don't get along with him. He always gets along with me, but sometimes I don't get along with him because I don't like. Sometimes he'll say something. No, he doesn't ever say anything. But like sometimes he'll say something and I won't agree with it, and then I'll get upset about it because I'm bipolar and it just doesn't register that it's not like offensive or to me or anything. It's not a personal thing. But that happens with everybody. But uh, you know, uh, Dave Grohl wrote this song for the Foo Fighters called "My Hero" and is about his dad. And honestly, I don't have one hero, but I think my dad, if I did get to pick one hero in my life, I think my dad would probably be my hero. Because, you know, how, and my mom would be too. So those would be my two heroes because they just treated us so great growing up. Like we had a fantastic life. And we're not like, we were never over the top spoiled, and we would always end up getting what we wanted, but we'd always end up like appreciating it more somehow. They would that we were kind of conditioned our whole life to be like, whatever you get, you better appreciate it, and that, which is the best way to raise your kids. And I'm so glad I got raised like that, because like I appreciate a lot of things. I appreciate everything in my life, and I think it's because my dad and mom. But if I could talk like one hero in my life and like want to grow up like one person, it'd definitely be my dad. I definitely want to grow up like my dad, because like how he treats everybody, and he is just probably one of the smartest people I've ever met, and he's definitely my hero in my life. I don't know, but that Dave Grohl wrote that song, and that's my favorite Foo Fighters song. It's one of my like 5 favorite songs in my entire life, and I'm learning it right now. But it's called "My Hero" by the Foo Fighters, and dude, it's one of my favorite songs. And yeah, I don't know, I just love my parents. Both of my parents are my hero, But I don't know, that song makes me think of my dad. And the song that makes me think of my mom is, I don't know. I don't know what song would make me think of my mom, but yeah. But there's a lot of songs that make me think of my mom. I think the one that actually makes me think of her the most is Hit Me With Your Best Shot, because she's very tough. She's very tough, and I appreciate that. And she made me extremely tough. Not in like a mean way at all. Not at all. But she made me tough in like she made me tough in the smart way, as in like, okay, if you start something, you finish it. And that's what my mom and dad both made me do, is if you start anything, a sport, school, a project, if you start like the guitar, like when I started playing the guitar, they bought me a guitar and they're like, okay, if you could start this, you better finish it, you better get as good as you possibly can at it. And that's what I'm working at now. And that's kind of how they always are, and that's how it's conditioned in my brain, and that's what my mom and dad instilled in me. But you know, that's yeah. And then I gotta go to my girlfriend, Crystal Ray. Now she frustrates me sometimes. I'll tell you why. Because she's just too freaking nice. She's so nice. She's nice to a fault sometimes, and she never actually pisses me off. She never actually frustrates me. She never does that. But what frustrates me is that sometimes she doesn't let her emotions get into it, which in my mind I'm like, okay, you have to do everything with emotion, but you really don't. She's very smart. She's very intelligent. She loves me like borderline obsessive love. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But yeah, I have never felt so loved by anybody in my life, other than how Crystal loves me, and it's crazy. But I'm glad I met her, because you know, we've been dating for 9.5 months. It's gonna be 10 months in February, on February 11th. We've been dating for 9.5 months. We've been dating for a while, and she's just probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, she's like an angel, and she makes me really happy all the time, because she keeps me calm, she keeps me level-headed, and she's just always so sweet to me. But you know, she's just I'm not gonna lie, we went through a rough patch for probably the last couple weeks. Like borderline breakup rough patch. And I tried to not let it get to me, and it wasn't like either one of us did anything wrong, but what was happening is I was going through some of my moments of being super bipolar and being completely unreasonable, and I apologized to her, because I never yell at her ever. I don't ever get like mad at her. I get a little frustrated, but I don't ever get mad at her. She never gets mad at me either, like knock on wood. But we just talked it out, and last night we had the best conversation we have ever had. We had like a 4-hour conversation about this, and it just made me see everything the way it actually is. She's like the rock in my life. She's like the stone. She's the foundation that I build everything else on. And that's what Crystal is to me. But, you know, and when I talk about like my inspirations, the person that inspires me to be the best person is Brooklyn, my sister. She definitely inspires me to be the best I can possibly be. I mean, I know I'm not going to be the best at everything, but I want to be a good example for her. So if I do YouTube, I want to be the best at YouTube. If I do music, I want to be the best at music. If I play basketball, I want to be the best basketball player of all time, because I want my sister to look up to me and be like, I'm proud to have that person as my brother. But you know, I went through all that. That's kind of a sobby little video that I just made. But I'm going to end it here. So if you like it, like, comment, share, subscribe. But I love everybody in my life, all my friends, my family, especially those 4 people I just mentioned. Those are the most important people in my life. And if you're watching this, people, thank you. You guys really helped me live. So thank you guys. I love you.